Hey guys, what's going on? How are you doing? Excoundrel here. Sorry for the lack of content. For those of you that haven't been following, life updates. I have a new full-time job, which means I can't really commit to a video a day anymore. I'm just kind of making videos as and when I can. Trying to get to a schedule where it's once every 2 days, but I'm also going to be making Pokemon Unite content, so you might see a little bit more. Yes, by the way, another reason that I've not been playing as much Wildrift is because I've been playing a crap ton of Pokemon Unite. And that game, if you're a Pokemon fan, is really fun to play. I'm absolutely loving it. The team fights feel really, really interesting. Probably just because it's a new game. That's another part of the reason. It's probably just because it's a new game. And I'll probably get just as frustrated with it as I get with every other game. For those of you that have followed my channel for quite some time, you'll know that I generally tend to spam the crap out of one game, then I get burnt out and I go on to another game. It's kind of how it goes. I'm not burnt out on Wildrift, but I've taken a 2-week break. Probably decayed out of Grandmaster, unfortunately, but I took a 2-week break. I was waiting for the new items. I wasn't really enjoying playing, so I thought best that I just take a break and then come back to it when the new items come out, and I'll feel a bit more refreshed when I go into the content. My voice is also broken because I had a really bad illness over the weekend, so my voice is just a little bit scratched. And I was obviously casting Origin series doesn't help keeping your voice intact, and I'm absolutely knackered. First of all, though, before we get into the video, thanks to G2O for sponsoring the channel. There is a reference link in the description below, and I will do the giveaways for July at the end of July, of course, and in August I might try and give away some battle passes. Although it might be a bit late, so I might do a very, very quick giveaway in August for some battle passes, and I probably won't do the skin giveaway in August. Akshan is coming out. He's coming out tonight, as far as I'm aware. It says July 28th at 001 UTC, so I imagine that's literally tonight. I'm not staying up to make a video guide for him, guys. I just don't have the energy in me to do it, and I've got a full-time job, so I have to be up in the morning. So I will make that guide hopefully tomorrow. And yes, there is Wildrift Doctor. I just haven't been bothered to make the thumbnail and upload it. I know it's lazy, but full-time job getting in the way. Wildrift Doctor will come. Obviously, I'm going to have to start changing. I can't get through all the videos from the old patch, so you'll have to resubmit some new ones for the new patch. I'm unfortunately not a full-time content creator, guys, so don't get angry with me when I can't do Wildrift Doctor all the time. I'd love to, but I have so many other things going on in my life now, including a job where it's just a little difficult. It is just difficult, guys. It's just a little difficult. But I will get around to trying to make as many as I can. I haven't done one for a while, I know that, and I want to do more. It's just hard. It's just got a lot of stuff, especially being a dad as well, with another baby on the way. Like there's a lot going on. Okay, so Ranked Season 3 began on July the 26th. Apparently Season 3 began yesterday. That shows you I haven't actually played. Hopefully then I kept my either Master or Grandmaster tier. That'd be great. Because I think when I logged on a couple of days ago, I was at least Master, so that's good. So Ranked Season 3's already started. Akshan's coming out tonight. So there's lots of new things coming. Akshan is like a kind of like a mid lane AD carry. He's a little bit like Lucian in that sense, like can play mid. I don't think they recommend him played in the AD carry role. He's very heavy roaming. He's got a really weird passive on one of his skills, which I'll talk about when I do the guide. I'm not sure how good he's going to be. I don't know how good he is in League PC right now. I think he's a bit of a meme character more than anything. But we'll test him out. We'll see how he goes, and I'll give him my opinion when I get around to testing him in Wildrift. We've got bans coming. Bans will be available on Ranked on July the 29th, 0600. So at 6 o'clock in the morning, July the 29th, which is 2 days from now, we'll have bans. So I'm probably not going to play Ranked until we have bans. Promotion matches are removed. Essentially, what Riot said about removing promotion matches was that people ended up, like, when they lost a promotion match between tiers, people just gave up because they were sad. And then when people got to the tier that they wanted to get to, they would just stop. So they basically thought, by removing promotion matches, it means that if you get demoted, you don't have to go through the whole promotion match again to get back to where you want to get to. And if you're not going to lose a promotion match and then just give up. I like removing promotion matches. I think their reasoning makes a lot of sense. And I think overall it will be better, healthier for a lot of people. I know some people think it's like a gatekeeping thing to keep bad players out of their level. But you know, I know so many people that would just give up if they missed a promotion match, or they'd get to Diamond 4 and they'd say, well, I'm not going to play anymore because if I get demoted to Emerald, I have to go all the way through my promotion matches again, and I don't want to do that. Or if you just got a little unlucky at Diamond 4, you had to go all the way through. You know, let's say you got to Diamond 4 or Platinum 4 or Emerald 4, and then you lost 3 games in a row at 0 LP, and then you just got demoted and you had to do the whole promotion series again because you had a couple of bad games at the rank that you just achieved. It sucked. It fucking sucked. Making Wild Pass better, more blue motes, Poro coins, Poro energy. You can get one whole champion from the Wild Pass now. You'll also get the free Teemo skin at the end, as well as other little bits and bobs that you get throughout the Wild Pass. You can now make highlights to share with your friends. If you turn on highlights recording in your settings, it will record multi-kills, it will record Dragon and Baron steals. It will basically record, things that you may want to show off to your friends. So it's pretty cool. I think that's a great feature. It's going to be great for sharing your cool plays on social media, but just be warned that it could make you use more battery and it may affect performance. And highlights will be available. I think they're already available, apparently. So highlights are already available. So let me know how you've gone on with those. Just some spectator mode things, you guys might not be as interested about it, but you can just do some extra toggles, like toggling the Fog of War on each side. And you can also switch between some cool little new interfaces, which include like team fight interfaces, etc. It's pretty cool. It's good for esports, especially. It's a nice little thing. They're changing the end of game screen so you can figure out how much if you're hitting any of your rewards, or you're getting through the Wild Pass, or you're completing your quests or whatever. That's great. We've added the ability to share your Wildrift achievements in your phone's OS share drawer. Cool. You can now access the patch notes in-app, and there is also simplified Chinese available for language support. Loads of Sentinel skins. We've got Ruined skins as well as Battle Academia Akshan. Got Hexplorer Teemo, of course, from the Wild Pass, and loads and loads and loads of new accessories like borders and these little whatever the hell you call those things and emotes. Loads of great stuff, actually. Sentinels of Light event. I don't even think I completed the last Sentinels of Light event. I don't know. I just haven't played, but whatever. Cool. Let's get on to the champion changes. Like I said, there are lots and lots and lots of changes. I'm not going to go through the items. I have got a video that goes through the items, which I'll link in the description below, but you'll be able to just type it into your YouTube search bar. There's plenty of people that have made videos on the items, and this video would go on for like hours if I went through all the items, but just trust me, there are some big changes. You will want to go and watch up some videos just before you get into it. Okay. Now correctly works against abilities that deal multiple instances of physical damage instead of just once per such ability. Cool. Amumu just gets a little bit more tankiness from a bug. That's fine. Ashe has been slightly underperforming. Hawkshot reveals the enemies for a little bit longer, and you can now bend your enchanted crystal arrow slightly quicker. So you can full on wanted with your Ashe arrow a bit better now, which is pretty cool. Not changes that I think are going to suddenly make Ashe meta. This may be good for competitive, for instance. These are all good for support Ashe as well. I know there are some people that like to play a bit of support Ashe around there. Don't think it's going to suddenly make Ashe super good, though. Fizz made a large splash on their jungle champions, but he's still lacking when it comes to getting lane priority, particularly in skilled play. His rending wave feels underwhelming, so we want to improve it. Furthermore, there are some interactions that skilled fields players are able to capitalize on in PC, but these weren't implemented properly in Wildrift, so we're rectifying this too. Due to the large amount of changes coming for the title Trickster, we'll be extra vigilant in following up how his performance is affected. So rendered wave, which I think is the ability that empowers his next basic attack. It applies its initial bonus magic damage from the first attack in a 175 radius splash area around the target hit, and applies Seastone Trident passive to targets hit by this splash. Basically making his AoE damage on his second ability. That's going to allow him to push waves more effectively, but also it's going to help his jungle clear. So they're basically re-adding some jungle clear since they took it away from him last patch as well. Proto Belt now buffers during playful Trickster instead of cancelling it. Proto Belt no longer cancels Trickster's full down splash if Fizz did not recast Trickster. So basically you can now playful Trickster, use Proto Belt when you're up in the air, and when you come down from playful Trickster you will instantly Proto Belt rather than it cancelling it and having some weird interaction. It's just a little quality of life thing for big sort of very, very highly skilled Fizz players. You might have heard me talk about these changes. These are absolutely nutty. Basically, removing base stats from Graves, because Graves has got quite high base stats, so they thought that that was where his power lied. So they're removing some base stats, and they are buffing the cooldown on End of the Line by 1 second. They're increasing the AD ratio on the first part of End of the Line, which is when he shoots the shell, by 30%. They're increasing the explosion of the shell, the base damage, by a decent amount in the late game, and they're increasing the bonus AD ratio on the shell from the third ability or the third point onwards. So basically, by about level 6 or 7, you're going to be feeling really powerful on Graves. You're also getting extra armor per stack of True Grit, which is from his Quick Draw passive. So essentially, Graves is getting tankier and he's going to deal more damage, but he'll have a little bit of weaker early game, but who cares, because Graves' early game was nothing to shout about anyway. So this could make Graves meta, especially with some of the new items coming out, and I do expect to see Graves jungle played a bit more frequently. Katarina applies 60% Grievous Wounds with passive. These are some of the new Grievous Wounds changes, so she's now applying 60% with her passive on her ultimate. Lucian is being too strong. They're nerfing base HP, they're nerfing base armor, they're nerfing base MR. They are nerfing MR per level, base mana regen's going down, and they're also decreasing his movement speed. But essentially, this is more of a big nerf to his solo laning phase, a little bit of a nerf to his bot lane. Overall, he's getting some base stats tweaked down. It's probably fine. I still think Lucian will be pretty strong, especially with the new items. Rengar. Some bug fixes. Attacking an enemy in melee range when in brush with 0 ferocity now grants 1 ferocity. So you can attack people in a brush without leaping and you're going to get a ferocity, which is a bug that's existed since Rengar's launch, so I'm glad that they fixed it. Casting Battle Roar after Empowered Battle Roar will correctly heal Rengar. The double heal comes through. So there you go. Love it. Some nice quality of life changes for Rengar. These bugs were actually quite frustrating when you were playing him, so I think these are some good buff changes, especially with some of the new items. Someone on my video last correctly pointed out that Rengar is getting a couple of new items that do benefit him, so expect to see some Rengar maybe popping up again, especially Crit Rengar, Essence Reaver Rengar. Those are good things. We're updating the Grievous Wounds on his third ability. So essentially, actually Varus is getting a Grievous Wounds nerf because Hail of Arrows is an AoE ability and it's a little bit easier to hit, so makes sense, and also it exists for a long period of time on the ground. Ziggs is getting a Satchel Charge nerf again. This time you now probably have to invest points in it to get some real value, but again, 15% is still executing towers. Ziggs passive still blows them up really quickly. Not expecting this to kill Ziggs in terms of competitive. I still think he's going to be a great pick. ARAM, that's the only... Oh, wow. Is that all the champion changes? Bloody hell. ARAM's coming back. Everybody loves ARAM, so I'm glad it's coming back. Item changes. New items. Again, go and watch the videos that we've done about these. I don't think I'm going to go through all of them, but let's just say Critical Strike, guys. Anybody that benefits from Critical Strike is getting a huge buff, and Draven especially is going to feel really, really grim on this patch. Grievous Wounds nerfs on Brabblevest. Grievous Wounds were nerf on Executioner's Cooling. So essentially it's making healing champions a little better because there's sort of in general getting a Grievous Wounds nerf across the board. Feels a little random that Katarina's getting a 60%. Yeah, I guess they just felt that Katarina, that's an ultimate, so it was allowed to have 60% Grievous Wounds passive. Anyway, most Grievous Wounds stuffs are getting a nerf to 40%. However, Morellonomicon is getting a 40% above 50% HP, and if it's below 50% HP, it's 60%. So it just makes it slightly easier to kill them below that amount. And Mortal Reminder is the same. And also Thornmail's the same. So they're turning down the power of Grievous Wounds on the first, the component items. Sorry. But they're buffing it on the completed items. And immobilizing an enemy on Thornmail will give you 60% Grievous Wounds. It's 50%, I think it's otherwise just otherwise 40%. Frozen Mallet's getting removed, which is an indirect nerf to Senna. You'll notice that Senna didn't get changed on this patch, so I still think Senna will be strong. Probably just Iceborne Gauntlet is the way to go for Senna now, because if you want to be more sort of support focused, you could maybe skip it and try some of the new items. But yeah, with Frozen Mallet going, that's a bit of an indirect nerf to Senna. Grasp of the Undying is 3% instead of 4%. That's technically a 25% nerf to the overall damage output that it's got, which is great. Still think it'll be the rune of choice for certain Baron lane champions. I don't expect Fiora to suddenly get rid of it because of a 1% nerf. It's still going to be very strong. I still believe Grasp of the Undying will be good, but it's even bigger. It's hitting people like Gragas and Garen even harder than Garen was hit. So this is going to be another knock-on nerf to some of the champions that really benefited and relied on this rune. But the healing will still be there, of course, which is obviously important for some of these champions too. And also, you generally found that Grasp of the Undying went into Grasp of the Undying matchups. So everybody that used Grasp of the Undying is probably going to feel the change the same. Early surrender vote. If everyone says surrender at 5 minutes, you will surrender. Cooldowns for ultimate summoner spells and items can now be pinged from the school board. Great, love that. Death recap will now show the source of damage that killed you. The time allowance between quadra and penta kills has been increased. So if you're chasing down that final kill for your penta, that has been made easier to do. We've updated the display for the minion gold penalty when Smite is equipped, and health bars have an added effect that better displays when an ability consumes your health or heals you. Rift Herald, this is the big change. Rift Herald is now spawning at 4 minutes. So Dragon will spawn at 4 minutes and Rift Herald will spawn at 4 minutes, which means if you're not a team fighting team and you don't want to fight for Dragon, or it's not a Dragon that you think is worth fighting for, go for Rift Herald, cross map it, take the top lane tower or the Baron lane tower at the same time. It opens up strategic options around the 4 minute mark, which is awesome. It is an indirect nerf to champions that really relied on team fighting to kind of accelerate the game. Corki's not going to be happy because he might not be able to get great use out of his package, for instance, but it is, I think, overall a good change. Grievous wounds, blah, blah, blah. Passive gold. Gold gained per second is going from 4 gold to 3.5 gold for the entire match. So they're leveling out. Less gold in the early game, but you'll find that you get more gold towards the late game. And actually, supports, Rejoice, starting from 5 minutes, the teammate with the lowest gold, which is almost always going to be the support, will receive an additional 1 gold per second. That's 60 gold per minute. 300 gold every 5 minutes, and if you go 10 minutes you get an extra 600 gold. It's not going to be game breaking, but it may help you hit some support item thresholds ever so slightly quicker. And tell you what, supports are always going to really appreciate gold. Okay, so kills, assist, and bounties gold. Essentially, this table is incredibly difficult to read, and I still don't really understand it. I'm probably being incredibly stupid, but it's difficult for me to get my head around it. Essentially, the TLDR is that you're getting more gold for solo killing someone, and when you get assists, more gold goes to the individual that killed the person rather than the people that got the assists. So shared gold from assists is going down, which means you're concentrating gold more on one individual player. Draven mains with all the new items rejoice because you're going to get even more fed, but essentially it's trying to hyper concentrate gold into an individual player, which has both benefits and drawbacks. The benefits being that if you're a player that's popping off, you're getting more gold and you can have more impact on the game yourself. The drawback being that that person has most of the gold, and if you can focus them or lock them down or even get the kill on them, you're reducing a significant amount of the enemy's power level, and then therefore you have to be more careful when you're a player that's getting all the kills. Essentially, it's designed to increase the individual impact on the game rather than relying on your teammates to use the gold better. It makes sense. If you're one of those people that's like, I solo carry every game, but my team loses it for me, these are the changes that you need to prove that you're not talking absolute rubbish. There you go. Some new control features, targeting priority closest. We've re-added this setting with a few tweaks so that it only applies to champions. Choosing this setting will make tapping an ability target the closest champion within range. Target lock filtering. This new setting makes target lock selection ignore minions and towers. So you know when you drag your auto attack button around, you can ignore minions and towers. So players no longer have to worry about accidentally switching targets from an enemy champion to a minion in the towers mid fight. I like this one especially for tower dives. It just means that you need to use the minion and the tower button for attacking minions, and I hate doing that, so I probably won't do this. When tapping an ability during a dash, the ability will now try to search for targets centering from the destination point as opposed to where you are mid-dash. So essentially, if you found someone that you're trying to attack, you tap an ability before you dash, it will try and cast towards the person that I'm guessing that you were trying to dash towards. We've decreased the likelihood that lifting off the screen will result in an extra input read and alter the original intent of the player. Cool. Ultimates now only target champions when tap casted. This is intended to reduce misfires and the enemy misjudges the range and the spell ends up firing towards a random minion. Exceptions, Corki and Xayah. Corki because his ultimate is a low cooldown spell commonly used for farming, and Xayah because the ultimate is a reactive untargetability, and the reactive untargetability is a big portion of the spell, if not the entire reason that spell's good. Initial AFK punishments for certain modes, such as co-op versus AI, have been made more lenient, since the AFK behavior in these modes will be less impactful for teammates. Repeat or frequent AFK punishments will still be treated as normal. Ranked fortitude loss for AFKing frequently in a game has been increased from 10 to 20 points. So essentially, if you AFK frequently in a game, you can't get those loss prevented points. Players who have been permabanned will now display a permaban mark on their profile and on their friends list name card, which is really funny. I guess it means that you can remove them from your friends list, because if they're permabanned, they probably aren't coming back. The reporting screen now has a higher character count limit, allowing players to be more detailed in the report. So if you really want to say how much someone flamed your mother, you can say it in more detail. Ranked borders, blah, blah, blah. Don't care about this, but you can read it. That is the patch. Okay, go and look at the new items. Have fun with Akshan when he comes out. Have fun with the new items I'll be playing once I'm done with work tomorrow. And I'll make an Akshan guide. And of course, I'll try and get a Wildrift Doctor out. I'm sorry that it's so slow, but I've just been so busy and quite ill recently. There you go. This has got to be the most depressive 2.4 update rundown in the world, but I'm not feeling great. Bang! Bob's your uncle. Let's go.